Timothy West and Prunella scales on the canal boat journey. leftIf going on a canal journey offers one of the greatest opportunities for peace and contemplation. Letting someone else go on a canal journey must come a strong second best. And that is exactly what viewers have been able to do for the past 3 years, courtesy of acting husband and wife couple Timothy West and Prunella Scales. Since the first outing in March 2014 in Great Canal Journeys on Channel 4, when they took a boat along the Kennet-Avon Canal, they have ventured further through Britain and into France, Sweden, Venice, Amsterdam and even India. And they have just been on our screens floating through the Norfolk Broads in the 8th outing of this hugely popular series. Now Timothy has a new book out, Our Great Canal Journeys, a lifetime of memories on Britain's most beautiful waterways, which is part travelogue and part memoir. It charts the couple's on-screen and off-screen travels, the life as actors, the long marriage, as well as meditating on Prunella's current condition, of which more anon. So what first drew him to canals? I had a phone call from a friend with a narrowboat who was going on holiday and asked if he'd like to borrow it, Timothy recalls. I had a phone call from a friend with a narrowboat who was going on holiday and asked if he'd like to borrow it. Timothy West. I didn't even know what a narrowboat was. But that was back in the great hot summer of 1976 and turned out to be one of the best holidays of our lives. What made it so enjoyable was the chance to go to a particular place and see the country en route. You can't go straight from A to B, you just take the line of least resistance and the changes in terrain as you go. It was a new journey in an area that I knew a bit on the Oxford Canal. We saw wildlife, otters, kingfishers and herons. It was the early days of tourism on the waters and there was a lot of enthusiasm and friendliness. The show attracts well over 2 million viewers, so what's the secret of its success? It's a lot more peaceful than a lot of TV, says Timothy. You get to learn a bit. It's not too energetic or fierce. And everybody knows that Prunella has a problem. She's coping bravely, but it creates a bit of drama. Yes, Prunella's problem. Timothy and Prunella are two of the most successful and best-loved actors of their generation. Rex West family in 1975, now 83 and 85 respectively. They have been married since 1963 and have 3 children between them, including a daughter from Timothy's first marriage. Both have scaled the thespian heights, with Timothy having his major breakthrough in 1975 with the television series Edward VII, about 250 roles in total, and a recent acclaimed appearance in King Lear, a play he has appeared in several times. Prunella has been equally successful, not least in her sublime turn as Sybil, Basil's wife in Fawlty Towers, along with numerous TV series and a long-running role with Jane Horrocks in popular adverts for Tesco. But these days she has been cursed with the scourge of our times, dementia. As with so many people, suffering from Alzheimer's is visibly diminishing. It has been reported that her memory is so bad she can barely remember much of the couple's 54-year marriage, and the popularity of the television show rests not just on canals but how the two of them are dealing with it, as so many people these days must do. So how is she and how is Timothy coping? We're managing, he says. It will slowly get worse, but she has a lot of physical energy. She enjoys doing things and she lends herself enthusiastically to activities. But it's awful to think back to the wonderful times you had, and they did. Both have been constantly in work, on stage as well as screen, something that suited the two as it took them all over the country. The great thing about an acting career is moving about, seeing places, and it was a wonderful opportunity for us. We were welcomed in different places all over the world, but now we have a time housekeeper to help with Prue and she is wonderful. But what is most tiring is trying to cope socially. Prue can be tiresome, saying the same thing 15 times over, constantly asking the same questions. His voice trails off slightly. Anyone who has had experience of dealing with dementia knows how difficult it can be. When I mention it, my mother had it too. Timothy is both sympathetic and curious. For Prunella, played Basil Fawlty's wife Sybil in Fawlty Towers, as someone put it in another context, he is part of a group no one wants to belong to. But he's putting a remarkably brave face on it all. Enough of the melancholy. What does Timothy see as his career highlights? The job that made a significant difference was Edward VII. He says, "It was the first time someone had done something like that. It was a beauty. He produced and directed. Although there are some terrific dramas about TV these days, he thinks can be too long. There are too many episodes. I admire someone like John Cleese, who said he'd had enough of Fawlty Towers and stopped." Another element of Timothy's career is that it has been completely free of scandal. So what does he make of the antics of film mogul Harvey Weinstein? He is by no means the first. He says nominally, "I don't think it was a huge surprise. I don't understand why it's getting so much space and why so many people are coming forward. It's disgraceful what he did and he should be punished, but everyone knows it goes on." Tuesday, July 18, 2017. 7 things you should do every day to stave off dementia. The Wests now look set to turn into an acting dynasty. Timothy's father was actor Lockwood West, and his elder son Samuel, 51 and a father of 2, is an actor himself. "I'm pleased and hes very good," says Timothy, although he could hardly say anything else. His second son Joe works as a teacher in France and has 3 children. Timothy's daughter Juliet from his first marriage lives in Winchester. "There was at one point some distance between them. We see each other," says Timothy rather briskly. "There's no difficulty about keeping in touch." Timothy has a new book out looking back on a career that has encompassed playing Churchill no less than 3 times, numerous Shakespeares including the Scottish play twice and Lear 4 times, films including The Day of the Jackal, and television work that has recently seen him appear in EastEnders and Coronation Street. Timothy can lay claim to national treasure status. So what's next? A little bit in a TV serial. And what about another foray on the canals? Their intention was to stop, but there has been pressure to do another one, says Timothy, before adding, "It depends on how Prue is shaping up to order our great canal journeys a lifetime." If Memories on Britain's Most Beautiful Waterways by Timothy West. John Blake, £20. Call the Express Bookshop with your card details on 01872 562310. Alternatively, send a check postal order payable to the Express Bookshop to Great Canal Offer, P.O. Box 200, Falmouth, Cornwall, TR11 4WJ, or visit www.expressbookshop.com. UK delivery is free.